is Dr. Gigi Sabat, and you're listening to the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Danielle. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Such an honor to have you here today. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about you and where are you from, Danielle?
Yes, so I'm actually from Rochester, Minnesota, just a small town in Minnesota, southeast corner of Minnesota. I am a nurse by trait, but I am a survivor of rape and an advocate because of that rape. So I'm an author. I wrote 6 books. I have a memoir that talks more detail about my experience. I'm also a public speaker, so I travel across the country and give a motivational speech and talking about my experience, talking to law enforcement, advocates, lawyers, and the general public as well.
Wow, incredible. And speaking of nursing, my mom's been a nurse for 30 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah, as far as the rape goes, I'm so sorry to hear about that. As a sexual assault survivor myself, my heart goes out to you. That's not all right, what happened to you. You are truly a brave soul. Thanks so much for coming forward and sharing that.
And you are as well. I appreciate everything that you do for the community and your advocacy.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you. Now, can you tell us a little bit more about your books?
Yes. So my heart and soul and sweat and blood is in my memoir, and this is called 4 Pounds of Pressure. And 4 pounds of pressure is the average trigger pull of a 9mm handgun. So a trigger warning to listeners, just an elevator speech about what happened to me in 2018. My son was 3 years old at the time, and I was living in a small town in Minnesota. And somebody broke into my home. I woke up to a gun pointed at my head. I was zip tied. And over the course of 5 hours, I was raped 3 times while my son was sleeping in his bedroom next door to mine. So my book just goes into detail about that, the aftermath, the court process, the investigation, what I went through, what my family went through, and not a whole lot about other people's perspectives in my memoir, but that's why I like to speak and be an advocate, is because the perpetrator, the rapist, he had a family too. So he has 6 children who are all victims of him as well. So, the example I like to give is after he was put in prison, I met with his wife at the time, and she told me something I'll never forget. She said, Danielle, when his mugshot was going around and, it was all over the news and all over the media, she said, I looked at the comments, and the comments would say things like, he has rapist eyes. He looks like a rapist. And she thought to herself, I have goosebumps talking about this. She said, my kids have those eyes. So we just need to realize that being raped is a ripple effect. It's bigger than just what happened to me. It affected my family, my friends, my career, his family, his community, his parents. So I just like to talk about that because I don't think it's talked about enough.
I agree with you 100%. And sexual assault or rape does not just happen to women, right? It also happens to men. And we need to have these conversations. So as I mentioned before, I'm so proud of you for coming forward. You are truly a brave soul and talking about it. Wow, my God. Thank you so much, Danielle. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure to grab your copy of Danielle's book. Can you hold that book up for us again, Danielle?
Yes. Yep. 4 Pounds of Pressure. It's on Amazon. It's also available to look at on my website, danielleleukam.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle. And can you tell us a little bit more about your other books, please?
Yeah. So when I grew up in the home of Mayo Clinic, right? So throughout my life, like the responsible, safe thing to do was to be a nurse because that's what a lot of people do in this area. But I always knew deep down inside, I had this sense of justice. I think I'm neurodivergent. I think those are linked. But a sense of justice, and I love writing. So it wasn't until I was given something to write about that I finally started writing. So I wrote my memoir when I was given something to write about, but then I had more to say. So I wrote a sequel, which is called Another 4 Pounds of Pressure. And this book just has more of the details of the investigation. It has the transcript from the sentencing hearing. In it, the judge says, "You are a dangerous man," and I quoted her in there. I interviewed secondary survivors, so my mom, my ex-husband, um, my sister, and a couple other family members. And I just put those interviews in this book as well, just because I think we need to shed light on. At the time, I didn't even know what a secondary victim was. I didn't know that was a thing. I wish I had known, because I would have, you know, I would have understood what they were going through a little bit more than what I did at the time. So I like to shed light on that in this book. Another book I have is called Reclaiming Power. So I interviewed 12 sexual assault survivors from the Midwest, and each chapter is their experience. Then I worked with 2 victim advocates from the county that I'm in, and they give a professional opinion and resources and references on each of the experiences. So it's kind of like a resource guide. I also wrote a fiction book and 2 children's books. So I do have 6 books total.
Wow, incredible. And you and I are both into the true crime novels as
Yes,
well.
yes.
I recently just released one, and we're actually going to be sharing out the link here pretty soon where folks can grab their copy.
Oh,
It's called
awesome.
The Storm, The Infinite Power of Faith. And as you talk about neurodivergent, I can't help but circle back to that because we just did a conference on that, Daniel Dominguez and I. It was the Global
Okay.
Neurodivergent Summit. We had amazing individuals from all over the world come and share their journey as far as that goes, and beautiful souls. And I mean, you can lead, regardless if you're neurodivergent or not, you can lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. My son is autistic, and I knew it at the time, but we didn't get the formal diagnosis until a year and a half ago or so. And through that, I've been learning how many undiagnosed adult women there are. And there's just so many things about myself that I relate to, being a neurodivergent person, or maybe on the autism spectrum. But going back to the true crime thing, I think so. When I was raped,
Oh.
the man was wearing a mask. I didn't know who it was. So when I escaped, it was an unknown person for about 3.5 months until investigators finally caught him, and then I learned who it was. Sorry, I forgot where I was going with this, but
Okay.
yeah, I was
Take
I
your
was on
time.
a trail and then I lost it.
Take your time. You
I'm
were talking
sorry.
about what happened and everything, and I can't imagine, just everything that as you're talking about it, and it actually it's for some it's almost like it's happening again, right? So if you need a pause, we can, or we can actually just go ahead and
Well,
shift the subject.
my survivor brain is like post-it notes, so I'm trying to grab at like everything that happened and put it all into one good conversation for us. But yeah, so 3.5 months later, the rapist was finally caught. Then I learned who it was, so I had to pretend to be a normal human for 3.5 months while this unknown person was basically waiting to hurt me. I had a good point, and I'm so sorry I lost
That's
it.
okay, Danielle. Danielle, where are you now with your healing journey?
I think that's a spectrum, honestly. Most days I'm really good. And I think that at the beginning I was a zombie. I was a mess. I was going through the motions of the day because I was a mom. I had to. I had to be a nurse. I had to be a mom. I had to be
Oh,
all these things that society expects of you. Um, but then I started talking about it, and that felt good. So I did all the things that people suggested: go to therapy, get on medicine, go to a support group, and that's great. But I also listened to my body and what my body needed, and that was talking about it, getting validation, writing about it, um, and getting a motorcycle, kickboxing, running. Um, Getting a motorcycle gave me back the power. I burnt my mattress. I doused it with gasoline and I torched it. And that for me was a huge piece of closure. So I've been doing all the things that you're supposed to do, but there's been a little bit more here and there. Writing about it has been so rewarding, and speaking about it too, because the feedback I receive is it's healing for me. It's healing for me to help heal other people, and to know that my experience is giving law enforcement a different perspective. Um, and just knowing I'm helping other people indirectly through those ways is really healing too. So I think I'm in a really good place now, although some days are hard. Like the day that I was raped, it comes up every year. That's really hard. When my son asks me random questions about that house we used to live in and we could never go back to, that's really hard. But overall, I think I'm in a pretty good place.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing your healing journey. Everyone's healing journey is truly unique. And thank you for sharing again. I truly appreciate it. And now you talk about motorcycles. I also love motorcycles. And you also talk about kickboxing. I'm into that as well, right? And it being
Yes,
part of your
yes.
healing journey and taking it one day at a time.
Yeah, you know what? I just remembered the point I was going to make earlier.
That's
Um,
okay.
so I'm sorry. It's like coming and going. I don't know what's going on
God,
in my brain right
please take
now.
your time. Yeah, we're here. I'm here. We're good. Grab a
Oh
drink,
man,
right?
yeah, I know, and I forgot my bubbler. Um, oh, it was about him being an unknown person for 3.5 months. You said something and it sparked in my brain what I was going to talk about, and now I forgot it again, and I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I feel totally ridiculous right now.
And guess what, Danielle? We can always do a part two of the podcast and hop back in and just share that little
Oh,
segment. How about that? Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
that's all right. That's why there's a part two. We can even do a part two. How about that? We'll
We
come right
might
back
have
on.
to do a part two because I don't know, my brain is just like all over the place right now. It's like fireworks up
That's all right.
there.
It happens. It's real life. But I'm
I'm
right here
sorry.
with you. You're all right. And like I said, I can't imagine as you're sharing what you went through. It's yeah, it's not easy. So we will definitely do a
Yeah.
part two if we'd like, right? But anyhow,
Yeah.
Danielle, what
Yeah.
message do you have for an individual who's gone through something similar as far as rape goes?
I think that we have to be okay with not being okay. Um, we, I am very good at when somebody asks me, particularly at the time, how are you? I would say I'm fine because most people don't want to hear that I'm not okay. Like to keep the conversation and to keep the read the room, right? To keep things, at a good, steady, like everything's okay. You pretend to be fine. But I think if we stop trying to hide that and just be okay not being okay, that allows space to heal. Um, and that really, I mean, it took me a while to learn that, but I invite others to do that for people. So um, I think we have to stop changing ourselves to make other people comfortable. So if I would have just said, it's not a good day, I'm not okay, they probably would have given me space to have my feelings. And I wish, retrospectively, looking back, I wish I had been more open at the time, but I just did what, society kind of told me to do. But, I was listening to a podcast that Aaron Quinn was on. He's in American Nightmare, and he talked about post traumatic growth. And I think that really resonated with me because, yes, I had PTSD, right? I had triggers, I had nightmares, I went through all sorts of things. But at the same time, life became so much more beautiful. I felt like I survived a gun at my head, a man that threatened to kill me if I went to law enforcement. I survived that, and for me, it was such a beautiful thing. I feel like colors are brighter and opportunities are, I'm going to take every opportunity that I can get. So I think where I am now is just in a much better place. I
Oh,
like I was thinking about this earlier. There's like a canyon analogy, right? So if you're on a hike and you fall in a canyon, you're going to stay stuck there. And if you do, that's fine. I think some survivors want to just sweep it under the rug and move on with their life. Whatever choice you make for yourself, as long as it's the best choice for you, I support that. However, what if you try to climb out of the canyon? You're going to find that you're stronger than you were before. What if you try to go a different route out of the canyon? You might come out in a whole different world of beauty and light and I think that's what I did. I climbed out of it and everything was just more vibrant.
Wow.
So rape sucks. If I could go back and undo what happened to me, I wouldn't, because I like who I am better now. I would take my son out of the situation, but I wouldn't undo the transformation that I went through to be who I am today and helping other people the way that I am today.
You are truly a warrior, Danielle. I tell you, I was sexually assaulted when I was 8, and then again as an adult. Uh, and I remember waking up when it happened as an adult. I remember just feeling really numb to pain, and I said, I never
Yes.
want anyone to have to feel this way. No one should have to feel that way. And actually, I talk a little bit more about it. I actually have it right here with me. The Overcoming Heart Blocks book, Inspiring Stories for Healing from Trauma. Right. And so we have to face it, as difficult as it may be. You have to face it.
Yeah.
Face it. I believe in you. You can do it if you're listening to this message today. And Danielle is a walking, talking testimony that you can get through it. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep. I think that if you don't face it, that it's going to come up in your life in other ways. Like you're going to, like some people, for example, might become alcoholics to try to keep numbing that pain and keep numbing what happened, or drug use to keep numbing the pain that they have inside instead of facing it head on and taking charge. The rapist in my experience, he tried to write my story for me. He tried to tell me, don't go to the cops or I will come to your house and I will kill you. I will go to your son's school and I will kill your son. He tried to write my life story for me, but I took the pen back and I rewrote it in my own version that I'm now happy and content with my choices.
Yes, you did. And you are a powerhouse. Thank you so much, Danielle. Now, Danielle, do you have any last words for the audience?
You know, life is beautiful, and I think we can do hard things. I think if you find yourself in having an experience, talk about it with somebody, whether it's a victim advocate. I always encourage people to get the medical help. Even if you don't report your rape or try to file charges, get the medical help. Um, have an advocate, talk to somebody. Networking with other survivors is such a beautiful thing. You're around people that just get it. Even if you don't say anything, they just have this understanding, and it's a really beautiful thing.
That's right. I
So,
agree with you. Speak to an advocate and also
yeah.
take precautions, continuously taking precautions. For me, it happened twice. And so essentially, I continuously take precautions. So some folks will say, because it happened, I'm not going to take precautions or I'm afraid. No, no, no. Continuously taking your precautions and doing what you have to do to protect yourself. And Danielle, thank you again so much. Where can the audience find you?
My website is danielleleukam.com, but I'm also on Instagram, Danielle Leukam, and Facebook and Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, my email is on my website. I welcome anybody that wants to chat or has any questions. I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place tonight. I don't know what's going on with me. So I apologize for that. But yeah, I look forward to, I have some speaking events coming up. I have one in Iowa and another with a group of sexual assault nurse examiners. Um, I'm going to a training event. So I just look forward to continuing this journey and helping others. So
Thank you, Danielle. And don't worry about earlier, because you know what? That's God's way of telling us, everything happens for a reason,
I
and
guess
perhaps there
so.
will be a part two.
Okay, there's
Yes.
going to have to
Thank you
be.
all. Yes, exactly. There will be, right? Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Danielle on all of our social media platforms and make sure to check out her books as well. And Danielle, thank you again for being a guest on the Welcome Me podcast.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
God bless.